Hey there, I'm Mike Terrell from Fourscore Solutions, and welcome to our Summer Solution Series. This is where we take real-world workflow problems and solve them using Smartsheet completely free. In this video, I'll walk you through a solution we built for a business that was struggling with tracking their corporate leased vehicles throughout their vehicle fleet. This is what happens when businesses share their workflow issues with us, and we respond with a custom solution at no cost with no catch. So if you got broken handoffs, clunky processes, or too many disconnected tools, watch how we fix this one and then stick around to learn how to get your own solution for free. Hey there, Mike Terrell here again, and we're covering our vehicle fleet tracking dashboard. So what we're looking at here is a solution that really came to us from a client who had a really difficult challenge of managing their corporate leased vehicles. So imagine they have a whole fleet of vehicles that they lease out. This is to different sales representatives or executives in the company. And they really had a hard time tracking the forecasted mileage that these leases would have, just general mileage tracking to begin with. How is it being used versus personal versus business usage, which can be very important come tax time and preventing potential audits from the organization. And really just making sure that these vehicles are actually getting serviced at a regular interval and not being too badly damaged throughout the life of their lease. So here's what we put together. It's a pretty simple solution. We took a lot of their complex Excel files and PDFs and just emails that would get sent around about different data points and just really tried to streamline this for them within Smartsheet. So we have a list of vehicle fleets here. Again, this is just a dramatized version of their solution we built for them. So we have a lot of Teslas here that are listed, but you can use this with any. Doesn't have to be electric vehicles, could be gas-powered vehicles. Obviously, the different images can be pulled as well. But we have a list of different vehicles here and the different cars and their status, the lease, the terms of the lease, the total mileage that those leases have. There is a bit of a typo here, but it is total lease mileage, what the current mileage is for the vehicle, and any forecasted mileage. And we'll get into how we do that in a second, but we also have for each vehicle the ability to track mileage, service, and do the forecast. So if we look at the service log, for instance, here. Now, again, we're looking at an EV, so the service list is a lot lighter than a lot of the gas-powered vehicles. But essentially, you have a list of services here, the timing for those services, and then we can see the start date, so when the vehicle was put into production use, and then based on the timing, when those service date would be needed. So either by date, or if some of these are done by mileage, so like rotate tires every 6,250 miles, we have a mileage notice as well. So as the current mileage ends up hitting the mileage notice, a notification will get triggered. And so for both of these, we kind of have two notifications going off, either by the date or by the mileage that gets hit, that then alerts the owner or driver of the leased vehicle, hey, this vehicle is scheduled for service, so please get it in ASAP. If we look at the tracking component with a lot of these, this is a way where we can track just different trips that are being used. We can classify them as either business or personal usage, and we can even have a manager approve it. And that's all done simply via this web form. So if we have a web form, we're like, hey, we're going to party in Las Vegas, and let's say we're tracking 44 miles here. Again, we can upload any receipts or any documentation that's needed as well. But once we hit that submission, we will see we partied in Vegas twice, but we can see on the second submission from our web form, it came in. If there's any mileage payout, if there's a particular rate, that payout can come through as well. One thing we'll also notice is that a notification will come through to the manager, both in email and within the Smartsheet application, allowing you to review the vehicle, who drove it, what trip they took, and all the details and the potential payout. And they can either approve or decline that submission. And so if it gets approved, notification will go right back to the driver of the vehicle to let them know, hey, that trip came in, we've approved it, and then the payout for that trip will be added to your next paycheck. All managed within Smartsheet, all simple. Someone fills out a form, notification, someone clicks a button to make a decision, and the communication happens automatically back and forth. Pretty cool stuff. Lastly, on the forecasting side, this was another big component of this as well, is where we wanted users to be able to track their mileage and forecast that out. So the way this would function is that this mileage forecast sheet would just list out the terms of the lease, the date from when the vehicle went into effect, and it basically mirrors the payment schedule of the lease. So you can track payments on the lease as well. There's a whole bunch of cost and depreciation that if you're not doing a lease, you're doing finance, you can track as well. But then the driver of the vehicle each month at the end of the month, or in this case, on the end date of month 2, which would be 7/19, the user will get an email that asks them to fill out a form that just says, hey, can you tell us the current odometer reading of the vehicle? And so very simple. So we'll go ahead and just trigger this one manually right now. And we'll just say for month 2, for instance, in this vehicle, comes in and we can see the notification comes through right away. Again, comes through email as well. In the email, just has this notice with a open request form that will just pull up this very similar web form so you can see all the vehicle details. And then you can just simply put what the mileage is. So I'll say 515. And then we just close this off and we can see that that is entering into our current mileage field for month 2. It's also updating our forecast and the difference between forecast and target. Again, no one actually needs to go to this sheet. This is just in the background running to do a lot of our calculations for us here. And so the beauty of this whole system is that all the users get an email with like a simple web form that they can either submit their service, they can get notified on service, they can submit their mileage tracking or expenses, and they can just submit on a monthly basis, hey, here's the current odometer reading of the vehicle. That's all they have to do at the end of the day. The beauty of this is this all rolls up to this main dashboard where we can see total active data points with our fleet. So if we go further down below, we can do a deep dive analysis on the vehicle as well. So for instance, right now we're doing analysis on George's Tesla Model X. So we can see the vehicle right now is in service. We can see the lease limit and the current mileage and then the forecasted mileage currently. And then we can see a breakdown via this chart. So if I turn off target and forecasted, we can see the usage month over month, and we can see how that compares to the target. And so if we look at month 5, we can see target was 5,000, but we're actually 700 miles over. So in month 5, we were probably trending to possibly be over, but we saw that, that wasn't getting used as much, kind of came under, and now it's kind of going back up. Well, if we wanted to extrapolate that for the remainder of the lease period, we can see that we have a nifty formula that runs in the background that calculates the actual usage based on the current forecasted usage to kind of give you an estimate on where we're trending towards the end of this lease. And we can see we're kind of coming in well under the 36,000 mile limit here, which is pretty cool. But what if we have a situation where we have Lincoln's vehicle here that's flagged for going over? Quite a bit, actually. Well, we can open up this report and we can just quickly toggle and say, hey, I want to chart this vehicle because I think there's an issue with it. And so by just kind of switching our chart around, again, we can chart multiple vehicles. It is a little confusing to do multiple vehicles just depending on when the vehicles are enrolled in service. So, we recommend it for the client, just chart one vehicle at a time. But by just switching that toggle, it's going to remove all of George's information and start pulling in Lincoln's information. So if we go back to our dashboard here and scroll down, we can see we're doing the analysis on Lincoln's vehicle here. And we can see that we're going over quite a bit, 44,500 and change over the 36,000 limit. I know you're seeing these end numbers here look different. Smartsheet just revised their charts, and essentially the numbers showing for the previous month and not the current month. It's a bug on their side. It'll get corrected, but the numbers are right. It's just not displaying visually the last number here in the chart. So if I hover over, you will see the correct one, just in case people are wondering about that. But overall, we can see in the vehicle here, again, if I look at actual usage, you can see it's pretty high. If I compare that to the target, we can see we've been over, and we've been over for quite a bit. If anything, that gap is getting bigger as time goes on. And if we throw in forecasted on top of it, we can see that, we're going to go over by quite a bit. The good news is there's still a lot of time left in the lease where the client here can make decisions on what they want to do with this vehicle. If they want to swap them to a different vehicle temporarily to get this one back under mileage, or whatever they want to do, they kind of now have that insights to make that decision. They can also see that in month 29, that's where they'll get close to that 36,000 mileage leases. So that kind of gives you the time period of when you're going to go over. So if you did want to shut down the vehicle prior to that date, you can realize in months 25 to 29, that's probably your window to do so. So overall, really helpful solution for the client. Got a lot of great feedback on it. And if you want your solution solved, feel free to reach out. So that's it. A real problem, a real business, and a real Smartsheet solution, all designed up front for free. So if you're thinking, hey, I've got a problem just like that, well, we'd love to help. Just click the link in the description below and tell us what your team is struggling with. We'll map the solution, and you'll only pay if you want us to build it. There's no pressure, no fluff, just results. This is the Summer Solution Series, so let's fix what's broken.